Hi guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well and all of you are safe with your families. My name is Ashish Masi, and if you've been seeing my videos for the last few years, you'll know that I always talk about some in-depth analysis about cars. And today I've got the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara for you. Now this particular version is the hybrid version of the car, and I've been driving it for the last couple of weeks. I drove it all the way up from Udaipur to Delhi, which is almost 700 kilometers, and I have to say that I found out a lot of things positive and maybe a few issues with this car. So in today's video we'll talk about the positives as well as the negatives, because no car is really perfect and nothing in life is really perfect, and neither is this car. But I think that before going further, I'll tell you something, and that is that this new breed of SUV from Maruti Suzuki is a game changer. It's the first time ever that in this segment you're seeing a hybrid vehicle, and that to a strong hybrid with a strong battery pack. So really, Maruti is taking the game one notch up and further away from all its rivals. A lot of rivals talk about technology and tech and features and stuff like that, but this here is real technology which benefits you and me on a daily basis. It's fuel efficient, it's better for the environment, it's also very good in terms of sound isolation, and just in general it's a fantastic car. So first up, kudos to Maruti Suzuki for launching a strong hybrid car in this segment and really thinking out of the box, thinking differently, and also offering you a 4x4. Remember, there's also a 4x4 AWD version, all-wheel drive version available with this car, and that's something which no other rival up to 20 lakh rupees offers in this segment. So those are two big game-changing things, and those are two things which make this car stand out from a sea of other mid-size SUVs out there. So let's get into this video. If you enjoy watching it, please give us a like. If you've come in for the first time, please subscribe. And I'll talk about some positives as well as some negatives, because nothing in life is perfect, and there are some negatives as well, even with this car, which is such a great product overall. Let's get started with the Grand Vitara on this channel. I'm sure by now all of you are aware that Woodmore are the online expert when it comes to spare parts, and the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a last generation model, even then they have the spare part available. They have the entire catalog, and the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today. Check out the app. It's available both for iOS as well as Android devices, and also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Well, so before going further, let me show you the boot. This is the biggest chink in the armory of the Grand Vitara. It's only 255 liters with this particular version, the hybrid version, the full hybrid version, and that's because the extra battery pack is there. And also, if you look for the spare wheel over here, you'll only find the jack and the other paraphernalia to use the jack. The spare wheel is placed over here, like it is in the Toyota Fortuner, below the floor. So that's something with which you'll have to live with. The boot is very limited, and the reason that I've taken this out is to show you that the boot really is very small. Of course, you can put this in, and then once you put it in, it becomes easy to slide in and slide out your stuff from. But 255 really is very limited, and even on the less, the mild hybrid version, the boot is still less. It's only 355 even on that. But yes, it is something which is a big chink in the armory of the Grand Vitara. Well, so now I'm inside the cabin of the Grand Vitara Hybrid. And how is this cabin different from the mild hybrid version of the car? Well, first of all, in the mild hybrid you get burgundy color or wine color over here as well as on the seats. But in this car you get all black, and the seats also have this quilted effect which looks very premium. You also get this little bit of bronze element over here on the dashboard on both the sides, and also this car has completely black interior, so there's no burgundy shade. So that is something which gives this car a sense of premiumness. You also get completely digital display, and it looks very cool and very sporty indeed. So that's something which this car has. And additional features on this car include wireless charging for mobile phone, cool front seats, EV mode, as well as different driving modes to choose from. So this is the big difference that it has compared to the mild hybrid or the manual version of the car. Apart from that, you get all the other bells and whistles. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Auto is available. You also get a nice 9-inch screen, and the stereo quality really is exemplary on this car. And of course, climate control, traction control, automatic headlamps, as well as automatic wipers available on this car. So a host of features which really make it stand out from a sea of other SUVs. But really, I think the hybrid version really is the one to go for, because the interiors feel a lot more premium than the non-hybrid versions of this car. And the interiors, that's the big difference. The back seat again is the same, no changes in terms of the headroom or the knee room. The only thing is that your head does brush against the roof lining if you're about 6 feet. If you're about 5'10", 5'11" like me, then you'll be okay. But if you're about 6 or 6'1", then you might just see your hair brush on the roof lining at the back. So those are some things that I thought I should mention. Anyways, enough of the boot now and of the interiors. Let's drive this car and tell you how it should drive, especially in start-go safe traffic. Well, so now I'm driving the hybrid version of the car. The big positive, of course, about the hybrid is the fact that it's a very silent car. It's inherently very quiet, and that's something which you'll really appreciate. If you're driving the car on a long day, if you drive yourself a lot, then that's something that you'll truly appreciate about this car. What you'll also appreciate is the responsiveness, because it is a very responsive unit when it's driving in pure EV form. And Maruti Suzuki hasn't given us a range. They've not told us how much you can drive it in pure EV form, but I'm sure that within city limits, with the battery charging itself up from the petrol motor, you can drive it quite a fair bit. Now, fuel efficiency, we haven't tested it in the city, but I think it should be around 20 kpl, because when you tested it on the highway, it delivered around 23, 24, so you can easily deduct around 10% less, and even then you'll get good efficiency figures from this car. Now, how it's to drive? Well, I have to say, when you start off from cold, it's airy silence, that's all you get, and that airy silence gets translated into a little bit of clatter, a little bit of sound. It's not a clatter, but it's a bit of a sound which comes from the petrol motor once it kicks in. And of course, when you need that extra bit of power, you get it from the petrol motor, which works in tandem with the EV unit, the electrical unit. So you get a nice wave of power coming in. Now, the official power output is 115 bhp when you connect both of them together, when both of them work together. And it's a 1.5 3-cylinder unit, which has been taken from Toyota. It's a Toyota unit, so the drivetrain is completely Toyota on the hybrid. It's not a Maruti unit, and that's where the collaboration worked. But of course, if you talk about the overall acceleration, it is decent. You can't really call it quick or brisk. It's decent and it's adequate. For the highway, it's adequate. For the city, it's quite adequate. But yes, if you want a thrilling car to drive, you are a thrill seeker, then maybe you should look elsewhere, because it's not really a very thrilling car. It's not boring, don't get me wrong, but it's just not a very thrilling kind of car. So that is something which you have to keep in mind when you're planning to buy this car. Other than that, ride comfort is very good, even though the suspension seems to have been stiffened up for the extra weight of the batteries. But even then, the ride comfort is quite good. And we drove this car from Udaipur all the way to Delhi, this particular version, the same hybrid version. And I have to say that on the highway, it gave a sense of great confidence and really felt very reassuring and very solid as well. So these are things which you need to keep in mind before you make a buying decision. What else is there? Well, this car has basically the 5 different ways how it works, the engine works. One, of course, is on pure petrol, one is on pure EV, one is when it works in tandem, one is when it's regenerating the batteries when you're going downhill, and of course when you're braking also, it's regenerating the batteries. And when the battery level falls to 0, when it goes completely down, then the engine, the petrol engine, works as a generator, and it starts filling up the battery with electric power, because it has a generator system as well in it. So that is something which you need to know before you make a buying decision, because these are things which really make this a technological masterpiece. Yes, Maruti Suzuki along with Toyota have done a fantastic job with the drivetrain, the powertrain, and it just feels very nice. The eCVT version also works very well. The gears, just because there's no gears, of course, they work so well that you don't even get to know when the actual gears are shifting. So that is something also which a lot of buyers will truly appreciate. Well, so overall, Maruti Suzuki has done a fantastic job with the hybrid, and I have really enjoyed driving it. If you are someone who wants to buy a fuel efficient car, but you don't want to go with the diesel, you want a car for the city, drive yourself, then definitely this is the right choice for you.